Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM23 Lions. It's episode 148. We are starting stage 10 of La Vuelta with a first and third with two unexpected guys. We're going to look to replicate that strategy potentially a third time because Samuels is the red jersey where there's a more likely chance that we can attack and get away with it. And what I want to do for that attack today is, well, for one thing, I want Haptum on the attack. But not for the sake of Haptum. I want it for Arab. Will they let Arab get away? You could see an instant acceleration. Instant acceleration. So will Arab get away, or is he considered a threat? Now, the grand scheme of things, Sammy Arab with an 80 mountain is a good rider, no doubt about it. And if you're year one in the game, he's considered a contender. He's easily a top 5, top 7, top 10 favorite, but not here. Even though it's only La Vuelta and the field's not that deep, he is not in the top 10 favorites. He's outside of the top 10 favorites. Now, for us, we consider him easily a top 10, right? Consistently, we've been able to crack top 10. But will they let somebody who is only in that 11 to 20 range attack? Now, if it were an AI team and Arab wanted to attack and the guy's in 13th place, I don't think they care. And I don't think Haptum being up the road has anything to do with this. But it looks like we are getting chased down. So I have a feeling we are not going to get Arab away today. But we'll see. Maybe these guys back off. We're still going to give it a try. If we can get a break, even if it's not a substantial advantage. Look at the stage today. This is not a hard stage. It's one climb. It's a very slender advantage. We got a couple guys that have made their way forward, which means they're not pushing that hard. Only a couple guys, only one team committed to chasing this thing down. And now Haptum is here. I will let them both work for now. No, it's Arab. Arab is considered a threat. One team in particular is not going to let him attack. Now, what team is that? It's not even a team that's a threat. Citos, Fortunato's 40th. 10th overall, Wells. He's the one that's trying to stop it. He's the one who cares because his position in the top 10 is in jeopardy. So we've nearly got it to where they don't care. But it's one team that's wanting to bring back. We're not going to get Arab into the break today, which means it's going to be standard run-of-the-mill, protect, and control. We don't want to lose the lead in the GC. So I'm going to set up protection. And we're going to keep an eye on things and make sure that nobody too strong is in the breakaway or the breakaway is too large. And we're going to protect our two riders in the top 3 today, but not overly so. So I've put myself in position to not have to chase, to not have to control the peloton once again. We couldn't get Arab in the break, but I easily got a Shimway in the break. He's just the next guy down the line. He's only 30th overall. He's 12 minutes down overall. But if this group gets substantially away, he is comfortably the favorite to take over the race lead. Why? Because the other 14 members of this group, the closest one GC-wise, is like 53 minutes down. At 12 minutes down, a Shimway has a huge advantage over the others. So either he gains significant time and this group takes the stage, or somebody else has to chase down the breakaway to be competitive for the day, meaning all I have to worry about is the final climb. Speaking of, let's go ahead and push forward towards that eventual destination. For now, it looks like somebody is interested in keeping the group in check, doing the work themselves. 2.5 minutes is all the gap has. At 30K to go, the breakaway group has dropped one and now just a second rider, but they barely have a 1 minute advantage. So the breakaway is not going to win today. That's not the concern. Right? I was not here to give a Shimway the lead. I was here to take the pressure off of our team to do the chasing, and others have done that for us. The one problem we are facing, though, is the domestiques are spent. The pace has been high. And by the way, the flat ratings are really important this year, and so it's been rough at times because none of our guys have those flat ratings today. Even with a boost, even protected, you can see how Arab is struggling. And they only ever had a 2.5 minute advantage, so really they've only been chased down by a minute and a half. And Ashimwe is doing just fine. He's got a 76 flat rating today. He's in a small group, and yet he's doing just fine. This is the climb before the climb. We're going to get a flat here in just a little bit. The group is already thinning out even further, now down to 11. I'm not going to worry about a Shimway. In fact, I think we're going to swallow a Shimway in that group up fairly soon. We're already 8K from the top of the climb, and we are going on the flat here. So once we are flattened out, I think this is going to be where I want to get like Benuna and Isaacs and Habtum to gel up. I don't want to go much further, but while we have an opening, I want to get us in control. This is a relatively small climb. The finish is mostly the descent. There's a few kilometers at the bottom, but if you can get an advantage on the climb itself, it's going to be hard for anyone to pull that back. We will absorb a Shimway into the line, but I am going to go ahead and get started. Our opening that we had a moment ago has already closed, and yeah, that's not a good thing. Isaacs is too far behind. We're going to put him at the back of the group, so it's going to start with Benuna. He's got the flat rating, and he's still, right, 75 flat. This has been almost entirely flat, and working as a domestique has absolutely destroyed him, which means there should be. In fact, the peloton's down to 118. So the peloton has been going at a pace where it's going to leave a lot of riders in jeopardy. But a lot of the GC riders have high flat ratings, very high flat ratings. So you'd suspect that most of them are going to be okay. But we'll set Benuna to like a 91 to get us started. We're not going to attack this. Changing my mind here. Changing my mind. Hanok, protect the real leader, Arab. Matoni and Samuels are the other two leaders. And so who's the current? It's Samuels. So we'll protect him. I want Matoni to follow Arab. When a Shimway is pulled back, we'll move him into position to protect Matoni. We're going to have to ride defensive this way, but so be it. Defensive it is. Just 3.7 to the top. It's a rather short climb. And these guys at the front are actually pulling away a little bit. 2.9, Shimway. Start setting your tempo. Nope, that's guys attacking. 9th overall. Germai. Really? No, that's Gregoire trying to attack. Alright, now we do need to respond. It's 3K. $2.3K. How's the Shimway doing? Leading things out at the front. Rolling that one up. Let me make sure he's not actually pulling. No, Gregoire's there. So do not pull for Gregoire. Okay, we're going to roll up to a 99 now. 1K to go. There's a Shimway not working, which is pulling it back together, which is what we wanted. And that's Rodriguez, Pelazari trying to push. But now we can just use a Shimway. And Hanok follow behind. So we're over the top just fine. Arab somehow was a little bit behind. We got a few seconds on two guys to chase on the descent. We have a lead out. We have Hanok. What's your downhill like? We're not going to change position now. We'll leave it the same. Back together officially. 72 left at the front. Not a big separation day, but we are now positioned to do something. We're going to gel up for these guys. Shimway, 4K. 99 from here. He's got 16 seconds. That's going to be hard to chase. 3K for Matoni. Still coming down the flat a little bit, so he's starting to do his soft sprint lead out. Start pushing a little bit harder at 1.9K. 9 seconds for a Shimway. We tried. Oh, come on. Samuel's got blocked by Matoni. Gregoire? Of course it is. Of course it is. He beats Kermai. And Van Aert. Not that great of a sprinter, but great puncher. But he just sprinted his way comfortably to the victory. Samuel's got 5th on the stage. Aaron was 7th. We are very well placed. We've got a small group. There was absolutely separation to many, many riders here. And yeah, we're going to see some guys losing time. So we didn't get our 3rd day straight of handing the red jersey over to another teammate and just cementing ourselves further and further up the order. But we did manage to hurt plenty of others. Ooh. Okay, separation has occurred. The front 8 get a 14-second gap. And other than Gregoire, the front 3, none of them are GC contenders. Samuels and Arab are among those who got that maximum time. Matoni loses a few seconds. But you got a gap after 46th. With a minute 3 to a small group, minute 18, and then 2+ minutes a short while later. So were any GC riders caught out? Felix Gall was. Where was Gall? Okay, Gall was just in that first group, so he only lost the 14 seconds. But then we see up 5, up 5, up 5, meaning this grouping is where riders lost. So the front 14 all were in the first 2 groups, so no big changes there. But Samuels remains first, Gregoire is 2nd, Matoni is 3rd. Arab moves up a spot into 12th place, and we continue to have a comfortable advantage in the team classification. Lotto Destiny losing a bunch of time today, and 3 teams more than 11 minutes down. So that's the other thing that I want to target at this point. I'd love to win the team classification. The Italian oil team is the only contenders at this point at 4 minutes. Before entering stage 11, it's only 130 kilometers. It's fairly easy on paper. It's mostly flat, but the undulation is just enough, and the distance is short enough that it's considered a medium mountain. It's probably going to be pretty intense. We may have to ride defensively. We may have to ride to protect the jersey this time. We have 3 guys in the top 12, which means we have 5 at our disposal to handle the climbs, handle the chasing. This could be a tricky stage. But we've also now, with 2 additions, we now have 5 riders on their fitness peak with Sammy Arab beginning his. Yesterday he drew a +5. That was not his expected. His expected was a +2, so he had a nice draw yesterday. Today, and for the remainder of this tour, he's now expected that +5. And at 97% fitness, he's the best of everybody. He has not really begun fading yet. Maybe around stage 20 or 21, he might start to fall off below that 90% threshold. But we have timed things extremely well for Sammy Arab. And while he's not excellent, like a Shimway, his freshness is very good at this stage. Can't be much better. Oof. We've got some rough draws today, too. A lot of big negatives. Matoni on a -3, Hatem on a -3, Henoke on a 0, but we do have the other 5 in good shape, so that's something. We've got to get to the front quick on today's stage, though. We've got to get this thing under control. Arab does have a +5. He, of course, is the big key. Samuels has a +5. Hatem, I think we're going to start controlling right off the bat. At least a moderate control. If others are willing to come up, we'll relinquish that control, but I am nervous about how this stage could go with how short it is. I mean, look how far off the start line we already are with the first rider just now attacking. Keep an eye on who is attacking to make sure that there's no threats. 1652, 33rd place. So far the highest. Okay, these guys are attacking all of them. Again, no threat. Hanok has made it to the front. It's important to get the guys to the front here early on, and looks like there's teams intent on not letting very many riders get off the front, so they seem to want a small group, which means we might not even have to spend much time contributing. Let's see what happens if we back off with Hanok. Last rider forward with Isaacs. 4 riders established at the front, but they still only have a 1-minute advantage, and the peloton does not seem to want to let them away, which means there's still a chance of seeing more riders attack, and there's still a chance of this just being one of those kind of stages where this group's already controlling this handful of riders, and they are going to keep it the way it is. They have allowed it to get out to 2 minutes, though, so they lifted tempo just long enough for that group to get established as the breakaway group. So there's 4 riders in the breakaway today, and at roughly an hour down each, none of them are a threat. Things are going very well so far with the stage. We're already down to just 90K to go, with the first proper climb of the day coming here in just a little bit. Don't worry, we will go very quickly through most of this stage, but there's just so much that can go wrong on a day such as this. All right, we are well past halfway into the stage, already down to 50 kilometers. That first climb was not a threat. That front group was so weak that they couldn't take it very fast. We allowed them to pull out a little bit of a gap, and the moment we hit the top and hit that plateau, we just accelerated and went from a 3-minute gap right back down to a 2-minute gap very quickly, and seem to now have them under firm control with just a 46-second advantage. So this, with 38K to go, is where this stage is going to start getting interesting, and this is where we need to start holding position a little bit better. We don't want to drift too much. However, once we hit the top of this particular uncategorized climb, it rolls, but it's going to be flat enough where you can recover position at that point and set yourself up for, well, the final climb. Though we have a hilltop finish at the finish line, I wouldn't really call that much of a climb. It's just a finishing. An uphill finish is all it is. It's not actually a climb. It's too short. Too short to be considered one. It's what? Yeah, 1.5K? Steep at the end, right? Sprinters are not going to win that, but that's not a climb. Just before it, at 6.5, that's the moment where we've got to be decisive. Matoni is struggling today. He's got to ride just a little bit harder. Don't want him drifting too far. We're nearly to the top. Everybody else is in their forward position. But yeah, Matoni hanging on to third is not going to be the easiest thing today. We are going to end up slotting him in last to keep him as protected as possible, but to at the same time ward off the danger of what happens if he's in front of Arab and can't proceed. But you can see right now he's still going backwards. Sprint point there. We've got a big acceleration from the sprint teams. Gramai has a very comfortable lead there, but it's Gregoire who's second. Matoni not making any forward progress. We're done with water, so we don't need to worry about that, but position is mattering more and more and more. Matoni needs to recover, but at the same time, we need his position within the peloton to improve. So starting to put our foot down just a little bit more. There you go. Now he's starting to come up. 144 in the peloton. New group coming forward to take charge. Is that the Italian oil team? I think it is. High tempo, recovery. Samuels is good. Arab is good. Matoni's okay. The protection has really helped him out, and we conserved. We're going to come up on that climb. We're already 9K from the top of it. It's an awfully short climb. I don't want to go crazy deep, but I do want to hold position. So everybody's going to go 85 now, and we will prepare to respond. 7.5K. This is right now about letting the other team do the dirty work and saving myself. But I don't want to save myself too long here. I don't want to wait for the attack to come. before we make a move. And is this an attack or is this just an acceleration? It's an acceleration. 3 riders coming through. Okay, now we're at 5.3k. I think we're into that territory of getting on with it. However, this is not a get on with it kind of situation, is it? 88. Just hold that position a little bit longer. Peloton's down to 89. There will be an attack, and that's obviously a threat. Is that Vanguard, Almeida, all... Yes, this is an attempted attack from those 3. Now we respond. Now it's at 4K. Looking even better. We'll have to set about a 90. I'm not trying to split the field. I'm not trying to destroy anything on this climb. We're going to save it for potential stage victory with a lead out at the finish. So, like I said, Matoni's going to go last, behind Arab, behind Samuels, and then Shimway as your lead out crew. I'm guessing Isaacs is the next one. But this is not just about... See, this is going to be different. This is going to be unique because, oh, we have this climb to navigate. We can worry about the sprint order in a little bit. No red bar for anybody else. So we're only going to get so much tempo. But Benuna, Henok is naturally stronger. He's just on the 0 race day condition. Benuna is well placed and Haptum is not. Haptum take up the rear. So Benuna will take us out. He's going to give a 99 because he's got no red bar. Yeah, you can see that he can't accelerate hard. He can just set a tempo. This is his max tempo right now, and it's not going to the front. So good on, I think good call on the 99 and Henok, and then Isaacs and everybody else keep it up just fine. Haptum, gel for him. Henok, gel for him. Gel kicks in for Benuna. We're still keeping up. Another acceleration there by Hershey. A couple guys dropping off. We can go to Isaacs if necessary. But I'm just trying to set this up for the final climb. Haptum's been dropped. 75 left. And that's the top. Little descent to come. And nope, getting a little recovery. He'll get us a little bit of tempo, and Benuna is got to work this thing to the front. Samuels, Arab are both recovered. Matoni's not looking great, but we can back off a little bit. We're onto the flat. 3.4K. Gel for all. Okay, Benuna. Outer red bar. Pushes to the front again. 2K. Onto Henok. This is it, folks. Oh, we're still at a 90. I didn't realize we were still at a 90. Henok sprinting. It's steep, but it's offering some protection along the way, and we've got to just push through these guys and get them to the front. Gregoire's going to get another, is he? No, Rodriguez. Rodriguez is going to take it. Best puncher. Yeah, Rodriguez, Gregoire, Pellizzari. No time losses. Bonuses, obviously, for the top 3, but... Today, we defended the jersey well. I don't think anyone lost time. Don't think anyone gained time other than the podium guys. And that's just a hard thing to complete, especially that short of a climb. Right? The puncher ones that we win, those guys have to be isolated a little bit. If it's just barely 1K, the punchers have more than enough stamina and a hill rating that's far in excess of ours, right? They've got bases in the mid 80s. Gregoire's got what, like an 83 base, which means an 87 base. You're not going to overcome that. Time gap given. Mark Hershey and behind. So just 19 in that top group. So there are some riders that are going to have lost time. In fact, another gap given at 26 to a chase group. Matoni loses half a minute there. So he is slipping down. But others may have slipped as well. So following now properly halfway, 11 stages through this race, Samuels leads by 1:15 from Gregoire. Almeida moves on to the podium ahead of Matoni by a few seconds. He's at 2:14 down. Petrovic, Piganzoli, Vingegaard, Rodriguez is 8th, Davida, Wells, Pellizzari, and there is Sammy Arab at 5:19 down, and definitely bringing up the rear. And there's almost that huge gap, right? Felix Gall is 5:49 down, so we passed him by a few seconds. He's among those who just lost half a minute, so we have eked out a bit of an advantage over him. You can see Bermuda's lost time, but that group behind, 8+ minutes now, is out of it. You're really looking at 13 riders left in contention for this race, and we've got 3 of them, and we're well placed. The only downside is that it's Sammy Arab that's down in 12th, right? Not in 4th or in 1st. It's through taking advantage of a situation that we've found ourselves up where we are. But Matoni with his -3, like, he could have lost a lot more time than he did today, so that's not bad. And for a guy who's just a 78, 76, 74 stamina, and no flat rating, he's not doing bad. He could time trial, but Samuels cannot. But Samuels has that nice position where he's not going to drop down too far, and then Arab can time trial. I know there's got to be one coming. I just don't know when exactly it's coming, but one would think it's probably coming soon, unless it's a stage 20 type time trial and only the one. Yes, we will find out soon enough. But we're into the second half. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.